Welcome to Conversations with Big Rich. This is an interview-style podcast. These interviewed are all involved in the off-road industry. Being involved, like all of my guests are, is a lifestyle, not just a job. I talk to past, present, and future legends, as well as business owners, employees, media, and land use warriors. Men and women who have found their way into this exciting and addictive lifestyle we call off-road. We discuss their personal history, struggles, successes, and reboots. We dive into what drives them to stay active in off-road. We all hope to shed some light on how to find a path into this world that we live and love and call off-road.
Whether you're crawling the Red Rocks of Moab or hauling your toys to the trail, Maxxis has the tires you can trust for performance and durability. 4 wheels or 2. Maxxis tires are the choice of champions because they know that whether for work or play, for fun or competition, Maxxis tires deliver. Choose Maxxis. Tread victoriously.
Have you seen 4Low magazine yet? 4Low magazine is a high-quality, well-written, four-wheel drive-focused magazine for the enthusiast market. If you still love the idea of a printed magazine, something to save and read at any time, 4Low is the magazine for you. 4Low cannot be found in stores, but you can have it delivered to your home or place of business. Visit 4lowmagazine.com to order your subscription today. As a hands-on type of guy, my guest this week wanted to work for himself, not others. And now he has spent over 30 years building that business. My guest is Todd Gronsdahl of Aqualu Industries. Good morning, Todd Gronsdahl. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic, Big Rich. How about you?
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about you and find out about you and your company, Aqualu. But first, let's dive back in the years and answer the question: where were you born and raised?
Oh, God. Kelvington, Saskatchewan, very small town, probably 1,200 people, middle of Saskatchewan.
And what was it like living in such a small community? I would imagine Saskatchewan is not, a booming metropolitan area, any of it really. Maybe Saskatoon or however you say it. But what was it like?
The biggest one. Well, to be honest with you, I was 3 when we left, so we moved out to Kelowna here in 1965.
Oh, okay. All right, so you don't have really any memories of Saskatchewan.
Correct, yes.
And what precipitated the move for the family from there to Kelowna? Well,
I think lifestyle for sure. Very, very cold winters, flat land. I've thanked my parents numerous times from moving from there to here. So
things would have been a lot different if you'd have stayed there, huh?
Absolutely. I'd probably be a farmer.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the move.
No, so much for sure. Yeah.
So Kelowna, I was just there for the BC Overland Rally. First time beyond going to like Vancouver or, I've been up to Canada a couple times for off-road expos.
Right.
But, and then a visit of Vancouver when I was freshly married. So, that was years and years ago. What was Kelowna like back then? Was it still the recreational hubbub it is now?
It's definitely a very tourist town and always has been, but, back then I think it was maybe 50,000 people, and now with surrounding areas, it's probably closer to 280 or 300,000 people.
I don't doubt that. Just the traffic as we came into town on a Thursday was pretty incredible. It's
kind of a
no
nightmare.
Loops.
We're tucked inside the mountains, and it's hard to get around here for sure.
Right. I would say that it's at the bursting point almost, especially when people come in to, for the weekends to recreate. People that don't know,
Absolutely.
There's a huge lake there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lake, 90 miles long, lots of water sports for sure.
And so growing up there, did you guys participate in those kind of sports? I know that there's ski resorts nearby as well.
Yeah, I mean, lots of water skiing and that, and then we've got a great big huge ski hill, Big White, that's 45 minutes away. So it's a four-season place for sure.
And what was it like going to school there?
Good, I guess. I was not your best student, that's for sure. So school was something that I didn't really spend too much attention at, to be honest with you.
Where was your attention spent?
Well, I was always a mechanically inclined person, and I loved working with my hands. So I was not the best academic student, and just loved working with my hands. So that's what precipitated getting into this kind of business.
Okay. And did schooling up there? I'm not familiar with the education system in Canada, except that you guys turn out a lot of comedians. I'm not sure why that is, but what's the did you have like shop classes or anything that helped with that?
Yeah, I don't think it's much different than in the States. We had metal class and woodworking, all sorts of different classes. So that was kind of the path I went down.
Okay, that makes sense. And college after that?
No, don't have any post-secondary education.
Okay, and from your schooling and work, what kind of jobs did you have early on?
Oh, basically construction, and I'd take any job I could get because I really didn't have any skill set, and somehow got into welding, and I absolutely hated doing it for other people. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it for myself. So 34 years ago, I started manufacturing aluminum boats and just kind of morphed into what I'm presently doing now.
And the welding that you did before that, when you were working for somebody else, the part that you hated, which I think we have in common. I've never been able to hold a job for more than a few years working for somebody else. I get bored or I'll just twist it up. I don't end up. I'm not a very good employee, you might say. What was it?
Right.
What kind of work were you doing in the welding?
We were basically manufacturing pontoons for a houseboat company here. Predominantly, they were made here and sold down to the States, down to Shasta Lake and Lake Mead, those kind of places. And it was a dirty, disgusting job. I just figured if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it for myself.
Okay. And what was it like when you walked away from that paying job to being self-employed?
Well, I think the most difficult thing was I had to make it work. Losing was not an option. So, I mean, basically, I've been doing it for 34 years, and a lot of hard work and dedication is what's made it work for me, I believe.
Right. And how did you get those first customers with building pontoons?
I can't even remember, to be honest with you, and I'm surprised I wasn't a little more scared than what I was. I just opened up a shop and started doing small V-hull boats and somehow got a contract to build these pontoons. And it just kind of went from there.
So were you, with that contract, were you working directly for a manufacturer, or were you working for, a company that then turned around and sold those, like you were working like a sub shop or something?
Well, I had a job when I was building pontoons for a company called Three Boys Houseboats. So I did have some experience, so I just took that when I ended up starting my own company. So I did have some knowledge there and was able to convince somebody that I could do this job for them.
Perfect. Okay. And was it all smooth sailing at that time?
Oh, God, no. was, I don't think I turned a profit for the first 7 years, to be honest with you. My wife had a job. We lived off of her wage, and I would just build anything possible that I could just to make ends meet.
And she stuck with you through that, huh?
She did. She's a good Texas girl, so yeah.
All right, now I need to ask, how did you get a Texas girl?
Oh, I don't know if I want to tell you the truth or not.
Uh-oh.
I
Okay.
actually used to play rugby, and I went down on a tour down to Dallas, and just ended up meeting her there, and happened real fast. We got married within a year, and 34 years. She's still with me, so hopefully I'm doing something right.
Right, and I have met her. We met at Off-Road Expo in Pomona one time.
Exactly. Yep. You remember the story there?
A little bit. Go ahead and tell it.
Well, I just fairly new in the business. I want to say 2008 or something like that, and I'm going around just to do some networking and meet people and buying people drinks and having all sorts of fun. So there's a big lineup at the bar, so I'm back and forth buying drinks for other people, just trying to chat. And I remember you sitting down beside her, and you had asked her, "Is that your boyfriend?" And she says, "God, no, that's my husband. My boyfriend would be way older and way richer."
See, that shot us both down.
Exactly. No.
That's funny. So then, you're struggling for the first 7 years trying to get. Well, let's get back into that. Let's change direction here a little bit. You played rugby. That was like a club, or did you play for the country, or how did that?
No local club. No local club here. It was just a good fun thing. Lots of beer drinking and more emphasis on fun than good quality play, probably.
You know, rugby's a rough and tumble sport. That's
Yeah, it's a little hard on the body for sure.
right. I don't know if there's a lot of older rugby players. You know, you do
Well,
take your body does take a lot of abuse in that.
Yeah, I had been in business. Well, I had just started my business and broke my right arm playing rugby, and I said, you know what, I've either got to run a business or go and have some fun, and so that was the turning point when I decided to start Aqualu full time.
Okay, and how did you come up with the name?
Well, it's kind of a stupid name, but it was aquatic and aluminum, and we were manufacturing boats back then. That's where I started.
Right. I figured it
And
was
then
something like that. Okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Very first year, I had a friend. He drove up to my shop in this old dilapidated Land Cruiser, and he says, "Oh, you should build one of these bodies." And I looked at him. I said, "You're crazy. That doesn't make sense to me." And then I started thinking about it. And I saw one at a car lot that was really beat up, and I went and purchased it. And I was driving home one day, and the roll cage fell through the rear wheel well onto the tire. And I said, "I've either got to put some plywood in here, or I've got to make a body or do something." So that was my prototype back in, I guess, 1991.
Wow. Okay, that's so you went from marine to off-road, and you guys have quite a little bit diversity. Did I read right on your website that you're doing like the mini jet boats?
Yeah, we do mini jet boats and service decks and pontoons. Lots of boat-related product as well.
Awesome, and all sorts of toolboxes and everything. It's
Yeah, you bet.
yeah, it's Aqualu Industries for anybody that's interested. I first was introduced to Aqualu in the early 2000s, one of my very first sponsor was a guy named Dave Knight, and he was
Right.
importing the bodies in from Canada and selling them here in the States.
Correct. Yeah.
And I'm sure when I just said the name Dave Knight that a lot of people just cringed and the hair went up on the back of their neck. But that's a completely different story. we, we won't get into all of that. But
Yeah.
how did that relationship come about?
Well, I started building these bodies, and just people started hearing about it, and they says, "Well, I want to sell your product." And I said, "Well, it was more or less a hobby. It wasn't a product." But people kept bugging me, so then I started ramping up and doing a little more, production work on it. And somehow Dave heard about me, and that's how that started. Unfortunately, it kind of fizzled out, but I went down to Moab. I believe my first year was 2005, and everybody's looking at these bodies and go, "Oh, these are this guy's bodies." I says, "Well, no, Aqualu is the one who's always built them." And I think I ended up picking up 18 distributors down in the States in that 1 week that I was there.
Nice. And did you ever build like aluminum frames?
No, didn't do any aluminum frames. I do manufacture steel frames for the Toyota Land Cruisers.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, all the bodies are aluminum.
All right. And the product line you have goes from what kind of vehicles do you do?
We do the old Suzuki Samurais. We do all the Jeep product, old Willys 2A, 3A, 3B, CJ5, 7. We do 4-door models, lots of custom products. We do the same with the Toyota Land Cruisers, the FJ40s and 45s. We do a 4-door model, which Icon of the Los Angeles produces. And then recently, in the last, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years, we're doing the Land Rover Defenders now. And that we do in the Defender 110, and we're just doing the 90 series right now.
Nice. And you're also doing, are you doing hardtops for those as well?
We're in the process of looking at it right now. We're doing a prototype right now. That's what we're looking at.
All right, cool. Excellent. And what would you say is your biggest seller of the aluminum bodies so far?
You know what I still think the old Toyota Land Cruisers, the FJ40s and 45s.
Okay.
Although the Land Rovers right now have really taken off just recently, so.
That makes sense. The Land Rover guys they're a different breed. They
well,
go ahead.
They are a different breed, and you and I saw that at the BC Overland Rally here this weekend. And you know what? The vehicle is virtually unchanged for decades. So it's a very nice universal body for me to manufacture.
Right, because it fits it. A 110 or a 90 fit so many different years.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's the hardest part of creating an aluminum body for a vehicle?
Just getting it as close as you can to replicating, the original. So that right now, what I'm really focusing on is trying to make sure that the hardtop and doors and that fit on the Defender product. I'm constantly tweaking it. Might be an 1/8 of an inch here, a 1/16 of an inch here, or a 1/4 of an inch here. But just trying to evolve and make the product better all the time.
And are your pieces before pre-weld? They're all done cut CNC wise or what?
Yeah, all our material comes in flat sheet. We've got 3 CNC machines. We cut all the product out, and then I've got custom dies that I've made for different radiuses and curves. it's a pretty lengthy process to build a prototype in anything. I feel that the Defender right now is nicely finished where we can really start producing them and make a really nice product.
Very good.
Whereas the Land Cruiser, we've been doing it for years, and we're constantly tweaking little things, but putting on a really nice product now.
And customization, like would you take a say like an old flat fender or CJ2A, and would you stretch the body?
Oh, definitely. And that's probably the body that I sell very few 2A, 3A bodies that are stock. Fred Williams, everybody knows who Fred Williams is. We built a 24-inch stretch 2A, 3A. I believe he put it on a two-door JK frame, and that was years ago. But that's very common, stretching out where your door opening is. They're so small to get into, lengthen the wheelbase and kind of do whatever the customer wants.
Okay, yeah, because I used to have a 48 CJ2A, and that was my problem, was getting in and out of the dang thing with the stock steering shaft and the seat location. It was like, I needed more room in there.
No, absolutely.
And what is your with Aqualu Industries? Which is your most popular line? Is it the marine? Is it the industrial where you're the welding beds or decks for trucks, or is it the off road?
Probably the biggest product line is our bodies, which makes up, I'm going to say 45% of our product. The other 55-60% is kind of all of the above that you just mentioned. And we do lots of CNC cutting and that for local welding shops and that here as well. So,
okay, that makes sense. And you're primarily doing aluminum. You said you do steel frames for the Toyotas, but pretty much primarily is aluminum.
Yeah, our niche market is aluminum, 90-95%. Although we'll do any kind of steel you want as well. We do stainless steel also.
Okay, well, all right. So you could make a stainless steel body?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay.
I've had the odd request. Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Right, because it's.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying I couldn't do it out of stainless steel. I just think the aluminum is a better option.
Right. It's stainless is brittle, my understanding.
Yeah, it's certainly difficult to, it's hard to drill. It's hard to do all sorts of stuff with it. I think the versatility with our aluminum bodies works really well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's why Tesla and Elon Musk went with their Cybertruck with the stainless steel. It's all flat panel.
Right.
Didn't have to bend it.
No, and there was one in town just recently I saw last week for the first time. It's a very interesting vehicle for sure.
Right. Everybody's saying it's like a trash can or whatever, but they're starting to grow on me. I don't know why, but I don't think I'd ever own one, but I don't hate them as bad as I did when the design first came out.
Yeah, I'd like to see one really up front. I've just seen driving by to take a look and see what it really looks like.
Yeah, I'm living here in Northern California, and we have a lot of them around. I think there's 4 or 5 in our little town of 10,000 people. So
interesting.
So you're doing these aluminum off-road bodies. Are you an off-roader yourself?
I am. I probably enjoy building them more than I actually do driving them, to be honest with you. My problem is I work 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm just trying to put a stop to that so I can actually go out and have the opportunity to go a little bit more.
Okay. And when did you when did you start doing some off-roading? Was it before building aluminum bodies or after?
Yeah, it was before I started my company. I've always been interested in it. I just don't seem to have time to get out there. I mean, I own 3 or 4 vehicles right now for different applications. I've built a rock crawler that I'd like to take back down to Moab. Something we do up here that's quite a bit different is we do a lot of snow wheeling that is really big horsepower and really big tires. And that's kind of fun, but it's a very expensive hobby.
Right. And what makes it expensive? What makes it expensive?
Well, guys are running 54, 58-inch tires. We've probably got 3 or 4 guys that are running 632 cubic inch with twin turbos. You know, they're running 1,000 to 1,400 horsepower, and that's kind of a disaster for breaking parts. So
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay. I didn't know if it was, the cost of the tires or fuel at that point, but it sounds like everything.
oh, they can go out in one day and burn $350 in fuel. It's crazy.
Wow. So the pontoons, are you still building pontoon boats then as well?
We do, as people request. Yep, we do all sorts of different sizes. You know, the biggest houseboat we built was 102 feet. So,
Holy mackerel.
yeah, so some really big stuff.
And what kind of engineering needs to go into a pontoon for a boat that size?
Well, we get drawings from the customer. We do have our set pontoon styles. You know, they're all based on a circumference measure around the outside. We do a 6'8", a 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, 11 foot, and I believe a 13 foot. So depending on size and width of the boat, there's numerous different sizes.
Wow, 13-foot circumference on a pontoon. That's
Yeah, they're about 5 feet tall. I can almost stand up in one. So
wow. That's pretty amazing. I hadn't even thought about that. I think of pontoons and I always think of, party barges. The flat
Right.
deck, guys out, drinking cold ones while they're pretending to fish or something.
Exactly.
But I
Well,
have
like I
done a
said,
houseboat before, so never
Right
thought
on.
of it that way. Where does a 110-foot houseboat? I mean, that's got to be like Lake Powell, or the lake you guys have, Kelowna. That's large enough.
Yeah, the houseboat kind of capital in our area is Sycamus, which is about 2 hours north of it, and that's where most of the houseboats are. The ones we used to manufacture that went down to the States were Lake Mead, Havasu, Shasta Lake, and they were all 56 feet long.
Okay. That's a big boat.
Yeah, it is.
And how did you get into the mini jet boats?
Well, I've always had, always built all sorts of boats initially on. One of my employees is presently doing a little mini jet boat, so we're kind of working together on that. We're just doing a couple more little 12-footers right now.
I know it's become pretty popular down here in the States. A lot of our off-road racers have gone to the boats and using them on the various rivers and
Right.
Jumping sandbars and doing crazy stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this boat that we're sending right now is, I believe, is going down to Oklahoma.
Nice. Okay. And the aluminum, is that? I don't know much about sourcing of metals. I know that like for axles, a lot of stuff comes out of China or India. What about aluminum?
Same thing. There's lots out of China. There's lots of domestic mills in both Canada and the U.S. as well. primarily U.S. Sapa out of, Salt Lake City, and there's all sorts of mills in the States as well where we get our product.
Okay. And what's the biggest challenge of being in Canada and exporting?
The biggest is location. We are kind of tucked in a small little town in the middle of the mountains, and so transportation is a real pain, to be honest with you. We looked at 2008 and possibly really relocating to the States, and maybe should have done it until the recession hit there. But Salt Lake City would be a great hub, not only for distribution but also for the product that we manufacture with the vehicles as well.
Right, and I can see where that would be a good hub because it's an intersection of two primary interstates with 15 and 80. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then 15 being the corridor pretty much that accesses the lakes that you would sell to, at least with the pontoons. Fairly good access.
Right.
And let's talk about the future of Aqualu. I know that you've gotten it into the Land Rover, and you're looking to create more time for yourself so that you can relax a little bit. You're close to my age. You're not quite there, but I know that you've worked hard for a lot of years, like you said. So, what's in the future?
Well, I've got a gentleman here that's going to probably take over in the next month. He's going to buy in. I'm going to hang around for another 3 years, and hopefully we can just carry on the tradition. I would love to be able to take the time off, and I've been to Rubicon twice, 1995 and 2000. I would love to go back down. I'd like to go to Moab a lot more, and there's so many other great places down in the States that make it more of a lifestyle. I can just go try out some trails.
When you get down to the States and you want to do the Rubicon, let me know, because I'm currently only about an hour or so from the trail.
No, I absolutely will. My newest vehicle that I'm working on right now is a snow wheeler, and I'm trying to get a bunch of guys together that want to go do the Rubicon in probably April or May, something like that, when there's lots of snow up there.
That sounds like a great idea. I've got some guys that are friends that are the premier snow wheelers up here, so I can send you that direction too. So, yeah. Let's talk about your new partner coming in.
His name is Tyson Chute, and he's been in wheeling for years, and he's more or less a Toyota guy who's always been interested, and I think he's the right guy for the job. So,
does he have experience with aluminum welding and all that kind of stuff?
He's definitely done lots of steel welding. Aluminum is a little new to him. I've got a really good crew here that will help facilitate the whole thing. So I don't think there's going to be a problem here.
And I did meet Tyson while we were up there in Canada, but then I realized that I've known Tyson. He used to hang out with Curtis Warner, one of our racers.
Right, good old crazy Curtis.
Yes. Is Tyson there with you?
Yes, he's sitting right here.
Hello, Tyson.
I'm listening in on what's happening.
Okay, you're a little far away to hear you on the microphone, but glad you're there.
Yeah, I was just listening in the background.
Okay. So are you excited about stepping in?
Oh, I'm excited that I get to work even more than I already do.
And what are you doing? What were you doing prior to this coming together, you might say?
I have a separate business that I've been doing for about 12 years, building like Toyota 4Runners and Tacomas and Toyota pickups.
Okay, so you're a fab guy. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that for quite a while, but decided that I maybe want to stop dealing with people that have rusty old Toyotas and their mini truck guys, and they don't want to spend any money, whereas the Land Cruiser guys are a little bit easier to deal with.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. Guy, customers that have a thicker wallet are more than likely easier to pry some dollars out and get paid for what you really do.
Yeah, for sure.
So the 3 years, gonna hang around and make sure the transition is smooth. Is that right, Todd?
Yeah, absolutely. What I really want to do is I want to, work 1,500 hours the first year, 1,000 the next, and 500 the last. But my wife being American from Texas, we would love to, buy a diesel pusher and hook the vehicle up and go do some of these events and go and have some fun.
So you could come out and bring samples and show the vehicles off and drum up some more business.
Yeah, absolutely. I might be sleeping in your driveway and you don't even know it.
Perfect. We can facilitate that. And if you decide to go to Trail Hero, I happen to know the guy that runs that.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, Tyson's a little more familiar with that kind of stuff. He would spend 2 or 3 months every winter down in the States and, Havasu and Vegas area. So, no, look forward to doing that as well.
And what would you say to somebody that was maybe an enthusiast but wanted to become more than an enthusiast in our market? Wanted to start a business, wanted to to jump in with both feet and make off-road a viable lifestyle.
Man, that's a tough one. I question myself all the time. Things change all the time. We've been building the bodies, but it's not sustainable by itself. We've always had to do all these other products to be able to make things work. And when you run across a recession like 2008, that was not a lot of fun. My simple rule of thumb is don't spend more than you make, and be humble and just try to continue on and look at building new product and be inventive. So
right, that's those are good words of wisdom. 2008 was rough for everybody. I didn't know if We Rock was gonna survive. The rock crawling series. 2009, yeah. I had made the decision at the beginning of the year that I was going to shut it down at the end of 2009 season. And my wife, Shelley, convinced me not to do that. And here we are in, 2024 and got a partner that's in the process of taking over like you're doing. And, it's amazing what can happen, with, coming out of a recession like that and having the right people helping you.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
So was your wife always, you said that she stood behind you and helped along the way. Did she, what kind of work was she doing?
She basically takes care of the office. She does all the accounting and payable, billable. I've got my daughter here doing the same thing, helping out as well. And I couldn't do it without her. As you know, I don't even have an email address. I can barely make a phone work. So I rely on a lot of other people for that to help me out.
It's good to have people that will stand behind you and do that. That's for sure.
No, absolutely.
And Tyson, Do you have a network like that behind you?
Somewhat. I'm hoping that Todd's wife will stay, or Todd's daughter and wife will stay around and continue to help do some of the paperwork and all that for a while. I have a wife and a little 2-year-old that's running around, so hopefully they'll be able to help me out in the future.
Excellent. Sounds like the future is bright for Aqualu.
No, I think so. I just, I love doing the designing portion of it. Tyson's going to step in and deal with most of the daily stuff. And if I can just take a little more time off and help him in the design process of new product, that's kind of where I want to go.
Excellent. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to discuss about the business or yourselves?
No, not really. I just want some more time off. I've always enjoyed going out there and doing this stuff. I always make excuses not to do it. And I'm kind of not kidding when I say that I want to have the opportunity to be able to come down to the States and do a whole bunch of these different runs and, still go to trade shows and show a presence there as well.
So all of my listeners, if you guys are involved with any events or shows throughout the year, give me a call or contact me, and I'll get you in touch with Aqualu, or you can go to Aqualu Industries website and contact them and see what you can do at setting up Todd or Tyson to come down and visit during your events. Great guys, fun to hang out with, and you might even get a round of golf out of Todd.
There you go. Sounds good. I appreciate this, Big Rich.
I appreciate it as well. And you guys have a great day and good luck in the future. And I hope everything is just fantastic for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Well, that's another episode of Conversations with Big Rich. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you could do us a favor and leave us a review on any podcast service that you happen to be listening on, or send us an email or a text message or a Facebook message, and let me know any ideas that you have, or if there's anybody that you have that you think would be a great guest, please forward the contact information to me so that we can try to get them on. And always remember, live life to the fullest. Enjoying life is a must. Follow your dreams and live life with all the gusto you can. Thank you.